Okay, as promised, here's video number 2, and this is on the recovery process of aortic valve surgery. So let's just get right into it. As soon as the surgery was over, there's, of course, a breathing tube that's placed in your throat. This apparently was taken out before, really quickly. They said I was breathing really well. Some people have to stay on the ventilator for a lot of, several hours, if not for a while. I was taken right off of it because I remember when the doctor came in, and it was probably about less than 2 hours after surgery, and I was waking up, and the first thing I said, because I was talking, I said, how did it go? And he said, it went well. And then he proceeded to tell me about the details, and I was just glazed over because I was wiped out. I just wanted to know, hey, was it good? And that's all I heard. All I heard was, yes, it went well. And I was like, okay, I'll get the details later. So I was in the recovery room, I guess, for several hours, and then they moved me to the ICU. When I went to the ICU, I had one nurse, and he said he had no other patients, so that was pretty good. He would basically check on you every hour, and of course, if you needed anything in the time, in the interim, he would be there. But I was basically like a little baby. I was being swaddled. I had my arms together. The pillows were packed tightly, and he basically just didn't want to move, the chest area, because that was where, I was cut open. One more thing I can say about the breathing tube. The breathing tube, as you can see in some of the video I'm going to be showing you here in between as I'm talking about it, it did affect my voice. It went down, goes down like your esophagus, I believe, or wherever it goes. I don't know. But still to this day, sometimes I'll say something and my voice will crackle, and that never happened before. So I'm wondering if that's just some long-term effects of the ventilator. I know it gets better over time.
Everyone, Lance Mannion here, just giving you a shout out. 3 days out of surgery. As soon as I get all this hardware out of my neck, I should be out of here in a day or two, and things are going pretty good, so they tell me, and not a lot of new visitors, but that's a good thing because I don't like any people anyways. So look forward to seeing you all. See you guys later.
So that's just one thing to be aware of, is the breathing tube may cause your voice to change a little bit and crackle. So as I was put into the ICU, rather quickly, maybe within 4 to 6 hours after surgery, the nurse had me get up and walk around, actually just stand up. And I thought it was going to be impossible because I was in so much pain right here. And they teach you how to do it. They give you your pillow, your little red heart pillow. I'm showing a picture of it right now, I'm sure. And doing all the work. What he told me later was, he said, I did 75% of the work, and he said I was going to be out of there in about 2 days. And I thought he meant the ICU. But apparently he meant the actual hospital because I was in such great shape. My breathing was coming back really quickly. And from the start of the ICU on through my whole hospital stay, I had to do breathing exercise. You have to breathe into this breathing apparatus, as you can see right here. And you do it 10 times an hour to get your volume of your lungs back to where they were, because when the ventilator's on, it does reduce your lung capacity. Being in great shape that I was, I went from 100% down to maybe 60% of my lung capacity. Most people go down to 20% of their lung capacity. So by the time before I was even out of the hospital, I was already going up to 100% of where they measured it the day before. This breathing machine, I don't think I was doing it right, to be honest with you. With the first day, I don't think I did the baseline high enough, because by the time I was 2 or 3 weeks after that, it was basically going out of the top of the thing. So as I was in the ICU, they were pumping me full of nutrition and stuff through my mainline artery in my neck and my arm and things. So I actually they've had a lot of fluids going through me. I actually went from 146 pounds when I entered the hospital to about 149 when I was leaving the ICU. And as you leave the ICU, I left in about 24 hours. I was already out of there. Immediately after surgery, you've got your IV drips, you've got nutrition pumping through you, a lot of liquids, you've got painkillers, morphine. If you're in any kind of pain at all, they can crank up the morphine and you instantly feel better. I felt a little nauseous right afterwards and throughout my stay. And then occasionally they'd come in and just give me some morphine or painkillers, and I'd feel better relatively within minutes. It goes that quickly. But I wanted to be off painkillers as quick as possible. So I, after 2 or 3 days, I said, cut the painkillers, and I'll just suffer through some of the stuff. About maybe day 2 or 3, I got to be off the IV, so I didn't have to carry the IV stand around. But I was still getting up every couple of hours and walking around the room to start off. And I did it on my own. As soon as I was out of the ICU, I got up myself in my hospital room, walked around with the IV stand, went to the bathroom, and the first thing you do is you have to pee into a bottle so they can measure your urine, because they track everything in the hospital, especially the ICU. And they bring you food pretty quickly. I was not in any mood to eat any food. I would feel nauseous, so I ate a lot of grapes and fruit. I could eat that. But I pretty much started losing weight at that point because I was not eating very much. I was just nauseous and I just felt terrible. There's no salt on the food. Everyone says hospital food's bad. I think after surgery, all your anesthesia makes you lose your taste. And that's part of the problem. It's not really that the food is so bad, but when you lose your taste, you get nauseous. And so that takes several days, maybe even a week to wear off.
My goal is to eat 3 or 4 bites of any of this food. This kicked my butt, man. Open heart surgery is no joke. No joke, man.
And my main goal was to eat a little bit of food every day, even if it was just a couple of bites. You're not able to be released from the hospital until you can poop twice. And that's not easier said than done. It's very difficult because you have to eat a lot of food. And they won't let you go, and then they gotta watch. Well, they don't have to watch you. You have to prove that you went. So you can't flush the toilet. You have to make sure they say, okay. And then when you get that 2 under your belt, 2 number 2s, then that was a relief, because then I knew I could get out of the hospital eventually. Now, one thing I mentioned, from the ICU, you get basically every hour you get treatment. The nurse will come in, give you your meds, do everything you need in every hour. When you move to the general population, as I call it, back to the regular hospital, they're checking on you every 4 hours. And if you need them, you can push the button, but they don't, they're not jumping to it. They got several other patients. And when I was there, it was right before the COVID hit again, and this was considered an elective surgery. So if I waited another week or 2, they would not have done the surgery. They shut down the cardiac ward, or whatever they call it, because they weren't going to be doing this unless it was an emergency in any open heart surgeries, because COVID was coming back at the time in late November of 2020. And I only had visitors for 1 day. My mom came and saw me in the ICU the day after, and then they shut down the place. So I had no visitors, which was actually fine for me because I didn't feel very good and I didn't look very good, and so I didn't really mind it. So one thing I did was I continued to drink water and drink a lot of fluids. 7-Up was real good because it was carbonated and it made my stomach feel better. And each day I just took more and more food, but it was still pretty bad. Even the last day, I ended up being about 5.5, 6 days in the hospital. And the day I was released was on Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving was a great day to be released because when I came home, the house smelled like Thanksgiving dinner. and my mom had prepared Thanksgiving dinner, and I ate a whole plate. And then at that point, I really knew that things were going to probably be okay, because once you start the whole process of, eating food and getting back to your strength, I knew things were going to be okay.
Back home in time for Thanksgiving. Look who's cooking the turkey.
Every little thing seems like you're just tired. You're just wiped out the first couple of days. And it gets better every day. You start to get a little more strength, and things start to get a little better. You walk around a little more. I did have Afib, I would say maybe the second day right after surgery, and they just were taking me off the drip for the Afib medication, so I didn't have to have my IV stand around, so I had a newfound freedom. But as soon as the Afib hit, they hooked me back up, and they made me carry the IV around for another day or two. And then I couldn't get out. I was going to be released from the hospital, but they wanted to make sure they monitored me for another 24 hours before they let me out. And the day I got back, the next day, I had Afib, and that was the only time I had Afib. And then right now I'm 5.5 weeks out, and the last time I had Afib was the day I got home, or the second day I got home. And I only had Afib twice. And I've been off the Afib medication probably now for about 2 months. And they put me on a heart rate monitor, and I'm probably showing that to you right now. That heart rate monitor is for 30 days. The cardiologist basically sees that you're okay, and then they can take you off the rest of the medication. I have my follow-up in about a week or two, and then that's when I'm hopefully they're going to be telling me I can get off all the medication, the blood thinners and all that stuff, the Eliquis. And there's basically 3 different things I'm taking. I'm not even going to try and pronounce them. I'm going to put them on the screen. One was for Afib, and I'm not even going to pronounce it. I can't even pronounce it. The second one was Eliquis for blood thinning. The third was Metropoly or something, and it's basically, and I might be getting this confused, but one is for high blood pressure. They don't want your heartbeat to go over a certain amount, so they try and just curtail that. And I'm hoping to get off of that so I can get on the bike and get my heart rate and my fitness back up. It's very frustrating right now because I'm still on that medication and I can't get to a certain level, because they're preventing me from raising my heart rate to a certain level. Okay, so what I forgot to mention in video number 1 was what kind of heart valve did I get. I had an aortic valve replacement, but I just failed to tell you what I got. They've got the mechanical ones. The mechanical ones will last you pretty much your whole lifetime. I didn't get that. I went with the pig valve. It's natural. And you're probably wondering, if you're watching this video, you've probably done your homework, you probably know the difference. I didn't want to be on blood thinners the rest of my life. And the artificial ones, you have to be on blood thinners. I do a lot of hiking, cycling. I fall down a lot. I scrape myself. I cut myself shaving. Blood thinners are problematic when you get a cut, even a small cut. So I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be back on what I was doing, living my regular life. The only downfall with the pig valve is that in about 12 years, I'm going to have that replaced. The good news is they can go through the groin. They don't need to open me back up. So that'll be great. And that will last me probably another 12 to 15 years. So I'm looking at about 30 years having to be opened up again. Technology is so great, I may not have to do that though. Who knows what they'll have 30 years down the road. So I'm going to take my chances. I may have cancer, I may die, I may not have to worry about it. I'll cross that bridge when I'm 80, 78, 80, 82. If I have to do it again, I have to do it again. But right now I want to live the same lifestyle I'm living before this.
Okay, Thanksgiving Day, November 26, 2020. I am going home now, so I'm really happy about it. This has been my room, and I pretty much hate it right now. And the Cowboys aren't even losing right now. They're still tied 0-0. Wow, half a pound less than when I graduated high school.
So when I was in the hospital, just backing up a little bit, I basically didn't take a shower. I had a little sponge bath that I gave myself. And in the ICU, they gave me a sponge bath to wipe all the antiseptic and all that stuff, that orange stuff you see during operation videos. Well, they wipe all that stuff off. And then I gave myself a little sponge bath maybe in day 4. But I didn't take a shower until the day after Thanksgiving, and it felt great. And they take the Band-Aid off maybe 2 or 3 days after your surgery, and you're just not supposed to get it wet when you're taking your shower because there's a big scab that forms. And that scab needs to just slowly, naturally just fall off. You're not supposed to wipe it down. You're not supposed to do anything. You can pat. There's an antiseptic spray that I'm showing you now, and you can just pat it down, and that's about all you do. And you wait for this scab to fall off. That scab takes about, I would say about a month to get that scab off. And once that scab is off, then you can start spraying the antiseptic spray and kind of washing that area. But you don't want to do anything until that is complete. Now, I was wiped out day 1 and 2, but I'll be honest with you, it's all a blur now. When it's happening, you're just living second by second, minute by minute in that ICU because you're not thinking of anything. You're so tired. I didn't even want to watch TV. I just sat there and I wanted to look at nothing. I didn't have the TV on, and that went on for about maybe a day or 2. And I was just so exhausted. And it's pretty much, you can't really sleep, you're just on drugs. You're just kind of sitting there just vegging out. And I didn't really have a hard time sleeping per se, because you're just kind of in the bed all day, just kind of sleeping, eating, looking around. It's just kind of all one continuous process. And you better get used to sleeping on your back because you're not going to be leaning over. You're not going to be doing any of that. You're going to be sleeping on your back the whole night if you can sleep. Which brings me to when you go to sleep, you need to get all your remote controls. You need to get anything you want, your cell phone, and you need to set it right next to you on the bed within arm's reach. Because you're just not going to feel like moving your chest area to go up and get these things. And a lot of times you would finally get comfortable, and you're like, okay, where's the remote control? And then you realize it's a foot away on the table next to you. And sometimes I just said, I forget it, I'm not watching TV, it's just too much. When you first it's the first couple of days. Then you go, I gotta get up, and you grab the stuff. And then each day as it goes by, you get better and better, and you start doing things more and more. And I would say, working on the computer from my work after week 2. They told me not to do that because they want you to rest and relax, but I'm not relaxed unless I'm getting caught up on work. And I would work for an hour or 2 on the computer, take a couple hours off, go back to the computer. It wasn't like anything stressful or anything. I was just sitting there. And after about maybe 4 or 5 days at my mom's house, because I did go to my mom's house, it is nice to have someone there to help you. But then after about, I would say 10 days after the surgery, I was at home, and I was doing everything on my own. And some things were a little tough to do at first, but after that, you're fine. One thing I can tell you, you can't drive for about 5 weeks. They will just not let you because this area needs to be protected. So you're not allowed to drive for 5 weeks. So on that 5-week period, I had my follow-up about 4 weeks out with the heart surgeon. He said, in a week you can drive. And so that's basically gives you some more freedom. And that's another great milestone.
Okay, how you guys doing? Okay, it's been 1 week since my open heart surgery. Aortic valve, you can see, I don't know if you can see, there's a bunch of tubes. That's where my mainline IV went in my neck. But as you can see, I'm out here at home enjoying the Arizona fall weather. It's about 70 degrees, 65, 70 degrees. Doing much better than I was a week ago, obviously. And once I got out of the hospital, things really improved. Hey everyone, here I am. Sorry, didn't shave for you today. Didn't put any hair gel. I know you guys are used to me looking pretty dapper, but that's not happening right now. 9 days after surgery, as you can see, I'm walking around the backyard, just enjoying the weather, and things are doing great. Eating solid foods, doing everything I normally did, all by myself. Just enjoying my time here, and I'm starting to go back to work a little bit. That's not fun, but that means I'm feeling better. So, also one thing I do want to tell you, as I'm working out more now, I can't always feel my pecs because it feels like someone shot them with Novocaine. That's kind of the only way I can describe it. And as my nerves regenerate, I think it will improve. However, my doctor did tell me that there's a possibility it might not. So only time will tell. Hopefully that will get better. And hopefully this video helped you know some of the basics that may occur after your recovery period, or during your recovery period. I know our situations are a little bit different all the time, but hopefully you'll have a speedy recovery. And then just one last thing, let me just show you the scar here. You can see it's not too bad after 6 months. It's pretty good. I'm very positive. I didn't know how that was going to be. They just kind of glue you together, and hopefully that will look better and better every year. Okay guys, good luck with your recovery.